wait.
One. Hello and welcome to Delete Your Browser History podcast. I'm Captain Maximus. Today we're going to be talking about Pulsar Lost Colony. I'm here with Scoobs.
Hello.
Crafty.
Hey.
T-Man.
I'm not here.
Okay. Anatoly.
Well, I'm here.
Death's Vendetta.
Hey,
Hunter.
hello.
Kurt51.
He's not here.
He's not here either. And Mulren.
Pew pew.
Yo!
So today we're going to be talking about Pulsar, which is possibly my favourite game ever. So, we're going to have a kind of open discussion about it. Let's get into it. So, for people who don't know what Pulsar Lost Colony is, if I had to sum it up, it would probably be a kind of science fiction collaboration game based on having 5 players that all have to kind of work together to make this ship run as effectively as possible. So, I think this format's good, and I think it's quite a surprising format that people don't really use as much. So, has anyone got any suggestions? Any other games that use this format quite well, quite interestingly?
I mean, Guns of Icarus, but they're sort of a bit like... It's not the best game. They haven't done it. They haven't got it quite right yet.
No, it still requires a bit of...
Because, like, a lot of the roles aren't unique. Like, there's a lot of stuff that everyone can do.
Yeah.
Like, the gunner and engineer can both do pretty much the same.
Yeah, and what I think is really, really good about this game is that it is very specific. The roles are required.
It has very specialized roles. Diverse purpose.
Yeah.
You can't really play properly if you don't have enough people.
Yeah. It requires you to have the right amount of people for the game to work properly, to work as intended, and to be as fun as people, as fun as it can be. You need a full crew. That's the basic summary of the game. So I really love it personally, and I think that having a crew that all kind of know each other, it creates a very enjoyable environment to play this game in, and it's one game that I can really, really just play for hours on end without getting bored, which is quite
I think a lot of games would actually do a lot better if they follow that kind of format, like pretty much any game, like a fantasy game, like the idea of everyone having a job to do in a fantasy game while you're going on an adventure or something. That would be really cool, but no one seems to do that, and I have no idea why. Like, why would you not?
Yeah, why
I like to shoot stuff.
On that statement, some games, you specialize your class, different from the rest. But having your players be put in a position where you have to rely on the other class, and you have to work together with you. That's what Pulse drives out with.
Yeah,
It's just making one effective team. It's like when you play FPS with terrorists versus counters. You need a good team with good roles to finish.
Yeah, but I think Pulsar is a lot more specific than that. It requires a lot more. It requires a lot more diversity.
Organization.
Yeah.
Or more tactical.
Yeah, it requires you to be more tactical and to be more,
Because you need certain people in certain spots, to operate something.
Yeah.
To work as more of a better team.
Yeah, exactly. To work
Yeah,
as a proper team.
Some of the roles you can't even do stuff that other roles can do.
Yeah. For example, the weapons specialist, you can't use the main gun unless you're the weapons specialist. There is a talent for it.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
It's
Even
not
if you
so
do,
tempting.
even if you're not,
I guess
you're
the
not
pilot is probably the least specialized role then, because anyone can get on the helm.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
with that,
there's only one talent that makes it unique, and it's like custom eye implants or something. Like it'd be nice if they made that more unique. I think.
look, say you're
About
not the
roles,
pilot,
I'm
the
thinking
pilot.
more that the roles are like personalities. Like you have your own personality, which actually is comparable to the.
Yeah. Deaths. I think Deaths has actually been trying to get a word in edgeways for the past like 3 minutes. So what were you trying to say, mate? Go on, go on.
Even if you aren't pilot, take the piloting role. Because your role is so individual and because your skills, for example, the weapon specialist, boosts his ability to use weapons that no one else can get.
Yeah.
You know, sure, you may be using the pilot's role and assisting the pilot. You're being a detriment to your own role.
Exactly.
Which is something a lot of games
That
don't
is
do.
true. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
You're not able to perform your own role as effectively or at all if you're flying the ship. Like you're not able to perform the science role if you're shooting the guns. And that's like a big pet peeve that I have personally is when people like go off and just start shooting the guns on science because they think it's not a valuable role or it's not an important role. But it absolutely is, and every role is required to make the ship operate. And I really love that in this game. I really, really do love that in this game. It's really, really good. Really, it's why it's possibly one of my favorite games.
That could be probably the reason why a lot of gamers don't do it then, because you need to have a full crew to properly enjoy the game. So, like, they maybe don't want to limit the fact that you might not have enough players. Well, this is not at all awkward. Just sitting there in silence.
So, nothing different then.
Any suggestions?
Think about these suggestions, channel.
PvP, please. It would be so cool if you gave 2 crews against each other.
We're gonna discuss the suggestions we have a little bit later on, but I still want to kind of talk about the base gameplay a bit.
Well, on with most not being like Pulsar and not really, putting the risk of making have to be full. We enjoy the game to the fullest. I think it's a risk that Pulsar took, and to its detriment as well with release, kind of suffered a hit because of its mostly unsuccessful release.
Yeah, and I have to say,
it was slow to grow.
I think I have to say it is quite disappointing that Pulsar has struggled with its release because it is a fun game. I think at the end of the day, it's an enjoyable game to play. But it suffers from the fact that there are not enough players playing it, and you see kind of these spikes in demographics, these kind of things where people will join straight after an update, play for a bit, and then not go back on. And the actual player base of Pulsar consistently playing it is quite small. For example, there's games that are run by this community, by the Biscuit Mafia, quite a lot, and we run games I think more than most other Pulsar communities would. Because
even the official server,
well,
Discord server.
You see every day 1 or 2 people will host a ship on the official Pulsar, or the more official Pulsar Discords. I think one of the community, Tom Richer, I actually approached him and asked him to pop into this podcast, but clearly he was he was busy, so we'll probably do another episode of Pulsar just dedicated to modding and the game's like statistics and stuff with Tom in. But Tom runs the Pulsar Lost Colony kind of crew Discord, and it's the most active Discord on Pulsar, which is disappointing, I think.
Okay, fill some holes in this just for complete factual. That lovely server, which grew being it was as a crew matchup server.
You're cutting out an awful lot there.
So you were saying?
Sorry. It is a grow on circumstance. People using it to make crews, and it did quite well in that.
Yeah.
And in crew, it's gone. Now need Tom. Hold on, having a blank. It was Solon who started. Tom and Guy took off modding with Solon, so all of the main mods, admins, well, the 3 owners of the server,
Yeah.
they're all big modders, really into the numbers of the game.
Yeah.
So
Real
yeah,
What are the actual system requirements of Pulsar?
The system.
You don't
Good
need much to run it. I ran it on my laptop. Yeah, not very playable without a graphics card, but
You survived. You survived, Mitchell.
I got a quick question. It's actually an answer. I gotta leave. I gotta go to a party.
Oh, okay.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Have a nice day or night.
Or whatever. Okay. Okay, Kurt's gone. That's one person down. Yeah.
yeah.
So Tom is, I think, a big pillar of the community, the Pulsar community. And
Yeah, Tom and Sky definitely have done some real stand-up thing to help it grow.
Yeah, I think it's just disappointing that the game is so small because it is a good game.
I mean, it is consistently growing, which is a very fortunate thing.
Yeah, it's quite good that it is getting bigger.
If it grows big enough, you can actually get PvP, but that's just a matter of.
I think.
Well,
Wait,
with
we're hitting around suggestions here, aren't we? Yeah, let's just say that later. Go ahead.
with things like PvP, right? So the devs really listen.
They do.
And when things are suggested, they actually raise and lower depending on what people ask for. PvP is up there on the list with what people are asking for. It keeps getting bumped back down because they find other things that are more important. Current working mechanics.
Yeah. And I think also PvP really wasn't their original plan for the game.
I mean, I can see that, but I guess instead of each player hosting a server, they could just have one main server that everyone would just happen to be on, and you would just randomly run into other crews. It would make the game a lot more interesting and varied because you're adding that player element that isn't like pre-programmed, you know?
Yeah. I think John Enkel is saying that Pulsar is missing ideas, and I think it is, in a way. It misses things about the game that would finish it, but it is still in development. I think it's still in development, which is.
What could help is if you could co-op with other crews. Like if you go with 3 ships on a mission that is too difficult for 1 or 2 ships.
Yeah, that's what I'm like talking about. Like everyone's on the server, so you can just run into a random ship and either choose to fight them or travel with them and communicate with them long range and stuff. Yeah.
This is really where it comes down to the bottleneck of only having 2 developers who aren't working on.
Really, there are only 2 developers.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 brothers working on it as a project.
Wow, they've done insanely well if there's only 2 of them.
Yeah, their dev team is really, really small. There's pretty much it.
They have one guy who's all about making the lore and doing the story. The other one is all the code and program.
Yeah, and I think it is a small game. I think it would benefit from a bigger production team, but I think then it might lose some of its charm because it is.
Because then it would, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it would end up being more trying to make money out of it rather than trying to make an amazing game.
Yeah, I think it benefits from being a small game in that it is made by 2 people and they can take it the way the community wants with no pushback from kind of big community, from big developers and whatnot.
Not required to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
No. They got no publisher breathing down.
No, they've not got anyone forcing them to, do their jobs. And they can design this code that is really nice and it's very, very it's a nice game to play and it feels. I think one thing that the game does lack is optimization, though, and optimization is something that is definitely improved by a big gaming development team. But
what do you mean by optimization?
like, it's not optimized for kind of lower end performance.
Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
The servers definitely aren't optimized for the person hosting it, which I think is a bit of a shame for the captain role, really. As the captain,
I seem to host games fine. I don't have any problems. No drop in performance.
I mean, the amount of stuff I have open on my computer, I'll have to fix that. But anyway.
Yes, that probably. I've seen your desktop, so yes.
I doubt it's as bad as mine.
You'd be surprised how bad my desktop is.
Well, how many tabs do you have on them? Well, do you have like a load of tabs open on Chrome?
I've got 2 monitors open. But anyway, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to kind of go into the channel on the Biscuit Mafia, the Pulsar Dev Suggestions channel, and I'd quite like to choose 1 or 2 of the suggestions from the community, and then we can discuss them as the kind of the playing community of this game. So we can go through and we can kind of discuss whether or not we think it'd fit well into the game. So, Mitch, do you want to pick one to start off with then?
A topic. Let's have a look. Well, how about what I mentioned earlier in this channel with what Michael said? Different story paths.
Yeah.
Where a survival situation, something to keep you on the edge. Maybe.
Yeah, so what do we think about this idea, guys? The idea that Michael is discussing.
I'm currently not in a position where I read it. Can someone tell me what it is?
He did just read it out to you.
Yeah, I'm also playing a game. I'm not really paying that much attention.
So it's basically story paths. So it's like a branching arc, I presume he means, that you can kind of do loads of things at once. You not loads of things at once. Like the path you choose will take you down a different.
It's more like a set path, I'd say.
Okay.
So you're more direct to go where you are, where normally you just go wherever.
So provide like a proper mainline set of quests.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just quests that appear randomly throughout the game.
Yeah. And I think quests that lead you on a certain path, depending on like what quests you choose to do and how you do them.
What would be nice if you had like choices as to how you could approach a quest, for instance. So say, for instance, there's this planet that's not planet, this ship that's just constantly orbiting another planet, and you have to take it down. Like, you could have, say, 2 options. Say, like a normal space battle, or this might be a bit much. You go onto the planet and activate, say, a planetary defense system to take it out.
Or even a ship above a planet would be nice. We haven't had that yet.
Yeah, I think the ability to have ships kind of orbiting planets, and that would be quite good. I think I'd enjoy that.
Imagine the orbital bombardments.
Oh boy.
Being able to fire down on a target from space. I think that would be a cool quest to do. I'd really enjoy playing that quest.
Just do a bombing run like a Star Destroyer.
One of the things to look at with this suggestion, if you remember, is with a later update, with the asteroid mission, with the addition of being able to fight the source, the devs have been trying to put in multiple paths, and they are trying to provide multiple ways to approach quests. So, such as I believe there's quest you received when you were working for Pirate Factory, the Alliance of Gentlemen, where you are collecting a weapons ship. If you can approach the quest a couple different ways. Originally, it was intended that you can just straight up get the weapons shipment if you have a high enough reputation with the faction buying the weapon. Considering the fact a lot of people get the quest rather early on, a lot of people just get it. But, and unfortunately, because Pulsar's limitations in the fact
Death,
overly
push
frequent.
to talk. Push to talk. Just turn that off.
I'm not on push.
Oh, you just really like it. Oh dear.
Hmm.
T-man down there.
Turn on push to talk. Turn on push
Oh,
to talk,
no.
maybe? Maybe your mic's having trouble picking up when you're talking and not.
I think
Or
his
disconnected.
microphone sensitivity is not high enough.
Yeah.
So the beginning and the end of his sentence just got cut off.
Tech support's here. Yay.
Yeah. I'll adjust it and come.
Try holding the button when you talk a little bit longer and start talking after a half second.
Push to
Yeah,
talk is not on.
I've just put myself on PTT for safety.
Okay. Cool. So,
Is this doing much better or nah?
Yeah, it's better. It's doing the job. Anyway, you were saying.
Well, with the limitations of its original scripting of the game, as much as their ambitions were to make it that you can approach different possibilities and go through different paths, and you're meant to be, having the freedom to receive quests as you explore the galaxy, and it was intended for you to play with other players and other ships coming through. But unfortunately, their dealings with Photon weren't really allowing them to go as far as their ambitions were at the time.
Yeah.
But fortunately, as you can see with now the mission with the asteroid, how there is a time limit, they've actually successfully managed to make it so you can get warped in and out of sectors with mission completion. They've got new ways for the game to flag different events as missions are done. There's been some real talk that I've been overhearing about some much more interesting missions coming in later with a lot more options. Definitely a lot more ground combat and ground interactions with different things.
Yeah. See, I am quite excited to see what they are able to do with ground missions because I think there are a lot of very interesting things they have the potential to do because it isn't just a regular space game. It's a space game that you can also, it also has the ability and the potential for you to go around on the ground and explore these worlds. So,
I get what you're saying, but I think the next step is they need to combine ship and like on-planet activities. Like, you need to be able to do something on the ship that affects someone else on the planet, because
drop
that
a
should be the
nuke.
next step.
Interact between the two of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. The only thing that I think is really stopping them, which I'm unfortunately confident in saying is something they're not going to push for a while, is for them to really move forward and make a big development step. They'd have to risk doing something with the community that might cause them to lose a large player base and break a lot of the game for a period of time, because they'd have to go back and rework a large amount of the current content.
Yeah. And I think that they should be releasing more beta builds, and they should have the ability for people to use builds in beta. But I think we've discussed that one for long enough. So I'd like to go on to the next one, which was suggested by Auto, and he says a bounty system for when you destroy crewed ships. Perhaps a system where if you were too rich, you'll get hunted down or perhaps betrayed on missions. So we had a discussion about this, and what we thought was that it would, if you go around like sometimes we do, blocking long-range comms and destroying ships, eventually people will catch wind of it, and you'll get onto a list like you'd get on a list of the Grey Huntsman. So you would be hunting.
And depending
down,
on
like,
whether you
ships.
let people go or not, depends how quickly you get on the list and stuff like that.
Yeah, precisely. Like that. So what are our opinions on this? Kind of as an ability.
Speaking of the bounty hunters and hunting you down, I reckon they should improve the boarding aspect for the AI, because they don't actually board you, even though we have a AI. Boarding alarm.
Yeah.
I've never been boarded ever,
It's very
even
rare
though we have an intruder alarm.
to do that.
Maybe once.
On the unfortunate topic of the AI and its movement on ships, we've all witnessed its history with being broken.
Yeah.
Being
And that is
disappeared.
yes, or spawning in one spot and never moving. Now, I am of the solemn opinion of they just need to strip the AI of its anything but back to its skeleton and rewrite it. Because as much as work they've done on it, and as much as they keep stripping it and rebuilding it, I feel like they haven't stripped it enough,
Yeah.
and it's still the unfortunate remnant of it was before.
Okay.
They need to get it to fourth base.
Oh boy. And then, unfortunately as well, because they tried to balance the AI's inability to efficiently board by making it so most shields you collect in the game are easy for you to be boarded by having, with most of your shields only being able to be required to be dropped 20% from your maximum for boarding.
Yeah.
I think with the strongest integrity shield as well, only requiring you to be dropped, I think at the first of its first use, it's only 25% as well, which goes quickly.
Yeah, it does. It
Unfortunately,
goes down quick.
unfortunately, most crew AIs side by the time that they got your shields down, they're so worried about repairing themselves and maintaining fire against you, they don't consider boarding.
Mm-hmm. I do. I think.
On top of that, it seems like the really tough enemies are actually capable of stripping your shields and boarding. Don't know, the options are board because they're drones. Like, the majority of the toughest enemies in the game that aren't bosses tend to be drones, I believe, like bandit scout drones, yeah?
Yeah, it that mainly comes down to the fact that bandit scout drones don't have a AI crew that controls
Exactly,
them.
that's what I'm
They don't
saying.
have to worry about.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, we should have some more tougher enemies that have a crew.
Yeah. Were any of you around early enough that the Grim Cutlass used to be able to board you and take you down from the inside?
Yes. I remember me and Mitchell playing it, and it was just me and Scoobs that play it just on our own, the two of us, and we went to do and we were quite surprised when
Did they ever board us?
Hello, and they boarded us. Yeah, I remember it.
I
Yeah,
did
I
not
was
get
back.
the game early.
I was back a long while ago, and I did it, and I'm pretty sure. I think the first 15, maybe 20 times I tried to do the Grim Cutlass, way back when the game, I think, was only out in Steam for maybe 3 months. The Grim Cutlass was so much more intimidating than it was.
Yeah.
And now I know they left it unupdated for so long, but I don't know if they just let the crew AI change or what happened. But it something happened and they just became because it used to be so fearsome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that we had a game hosted quite recently, and they were saying that they just managed to kill it with a level 2 ship, like a starter ship.
Oh well, that's a different thing. It's one of the latest things they changed. Is now the actual Grim Cutlass and the Caustic Corsair scale with chaos as well now.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so later on you fight it, if your ship's not built right, the later on you fight, the more your ship has to be built to a specific build to be able to fight it. Otherwise, you have trouble. Early on, the Grim Cutlass, much like your own ship, is pretty stock standard. So think more of a cookie cutter Grim than a terrifying warship of the CU
A
or
terrifying,
of this from.
terrifying murder grip.
Yeah.
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 So we've got one last thing we'd like to discuss, and that is these suggestions. Tom puts UAVs to be a funny alternative to multiple crewed ships. Mr. Intimidate puts controllable drones that are deployable from any ship and more varieties of planets. And Timo writes drones you can buy from who follow you when fighting and repairing the ship, and a drone system like that. So basically, a lot of people want drones, UAVs that they can deploy.
Yeah, it's a helping hand in combat. You're all alone in the galaxy, so it could be an extra role, like a drone pilot role, or an extension pilot role at least, because that doesn't have much use.
Are we sure that the pilot role doesn't have a use, really?
Apart from flying the
Obviously.
ship, not really.
Yeah, apart from, moving the ship around.
Which anyone can do.
Yeah, but if we discussed this earlier, if you do it, then less people, you're less able to
shoot.
It's like stacking classes of any other game. You just limit other classes.
Exactly. So what are
Yeah.
our opinions on
Except those-
drones?
Yes,
Definitely.
that is my opinion.
Yes, it's a good idea.
Drones are actually
stand-
very handy. You don't have to go outside for your own repairs.
Yeah, and I would
Salvaging drones.
Yeah, I would like the ability to repair the hull with a drone. Like being able to go and use this drone and use scrap or processed scrap to repair the hull. So if you were far away from a repair station, you'd have the ability to do that, to sort that out. Which I think that'd add a lot of benefit to the game, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
But it has to be some kind of balance in there.
Okay, you're all going at once. Why don't we go, Mulren, why don't you go first?
Everything needs a balance thing, so let's say we got the repair drones in the game, and what? Like repairing, like it could cost like metal or something, it could cost resources.
Pick up.
Yeah.
Because it can't be for free.
No.
Like having drones that repair for free is just OP.
Yeah. And I think what you would
Or maybe
I think what you would have to do is it would have to use scrap or components or something. And maybe it would decrease the integrity of the hull until it's so low that you have to buy a new hull, or you have to replace the hull, or you have to repair it at the station.
Reduces the armor of your hull. Makes you more likely to get damaged.
Exactly. I think that would be very useful, and it would make it more likely for components to set on fire or for engines to be damaged. See, I personally think that an engine room that you can repair each engine manually. So I think it'd be cool, saying right engine has gone down.
Well, another option would be if you take the drones and they are just for patch ups. So you still have to go to a repair shop, but you can patch holes in the hull temporarily.
Oh, I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, you can kind of patch it up, stick it and bodge it, duct tape it almost.
But that it's just holdable until you get to a repair station.
Yeah, it's just enough to tide you over until things go horribly haywire. So Timo has made a little suggestion in chat, and I don't know why he hasn't just said it. Maybe it's because he's really sick. But he says make it so that it costs resources to deploy the drones, like in FTL, like in the game Faster Than Light.
FTL's a very good game. I like that.
But I think it's testament to how busy this screen is that there's the amount of people who are constantly the people suggesting this, and I've heard it be suggested in every single game we've played, every single time we've asked people for their suggestions, they've all been like, "Yeah, I want drones." But I think it probably will be implemented because the devs, as as you've said,
I mean,
Deaths,
I know it's on the list.
yeah, as you've said, Deaths, it is very requested by the community. A lot of people do want it. I think the drones would have to
I've
be quite
seen.
expensive.
Well, I've seen firsthand. They've told me in advance. This is going to happen soon. Expect this kind of information to change and this to happen.
Mhm.
I'm like, all right, getting ready for it. Got my law notes in order, so when people ask me how the hell does this work, I can tell them. And they told me a week in advance. Actually, we've had a lot of people from the community ask for this. We're changing the update entirely, and that was it. Delayed it. I think the update by like a full 6 days.
Yeah. But they are very responsive to people's requests. And when I've emailed them, and I have emailed them a few times, they have always responded within a day, and they've always been responsive, and they've always replied. But I think they need to work on the content of the game. They need to add more ships and more missions before they add additional content, because the groundwork is there, in my opinion, for the game, but it's missing content that keeps people coming back, which is where the replayable missions come in and where things like that come in. Because once you've done
I think
missions like the Wasted Wing, you've done them,
I think it's a testament to like the same reason why I keep coming back to playing the game. I'm on almost every day that I can. I'm here for the community, and I think one of the
Yeah.
big things that would really increase playability would be multiple ships on the same server.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't just one big server with people playing, having
Yeah,
multiple
definitely.
people to play. The only problem with that is the way the game renders the layers.
Yeah.
They need, which is why it's so far down the pipeline,
Yeah.
and why when other people make other suggestions, they're more likely to be done sooner.
Yeah. And the
And then
thing is,
with drones, because they already have security drones and scout drones and small security drones, all their existing variations already in the game. When they intend to do drones, they intend to also make it so the distress signal will you'll be able to call for reinforcements because there'll be more threatening missions where you'll need to do something like that, and it'll actually bring manned ships that will be able to assist you.
yeah, I like the idea that eventually we'll see these things come up, and it is interesting to watch the game develop, and it's developed a lot, especially like even in the time that me and Mitchell have been playing it. It has done a lot of development, and it's made a lot of progress. And I think me and Mitchell are some of the earlier players of the game, not the earliest, but we've been playing this game for quite a long time, haven't we, Scoops?
Well, how old was it when you started?
It was. I don't remember because it was a while ago, wasn't it?
I was in Steam, see if that tells me anything.
We've me and Mitchell have played a lot of hours of this game. Like I've got 325 hours, and you play a lot of this game. And John from the YouTube chat has said maybe for starter, multi-ships could be multi-server chat, like you play in-game and you talk on your ship, and you can use like communicators to talk to the others, like long-range comms. Be able to request help and message them. And I think that would be really interesting. But for that, the galaxy would have to be so much larger that interacting with other player ships would be a rarity. It would be rarer to interact with other player ships than it would be to interact with NPCs.
Well, this is one of the instances where I can say, look what's already in. I mean, you can see they have a warp disable virus as something that the enemies will use on you. The
Yeah.
ambition is there for a multi-sector active galaxy where players will be in different locations and be able to interact. And I think one of the reasons why watching this game develop and what's coming out next is so interesting is you can see kind of in advance that there's the setup for this update's been in play for quite a while. They've been working on it. It's going to happen, and then it comes, and it's the mechanics are often a little bit deeper than you'd hoped for, and it's rather interesting.
Yeah. I like the idea of games that do snapshots, and I hate to bring up Minecraft, but I think Minecraft does it quite well. They release their snapshots, and they release their beta versions, and I don't think this game does enough of that, and if they do, I certainly don't know where to access them, and I think that the game devs would benefit from having bug fixing within like a test version of their game that they can use to prototype.
Like they do in StarMade.
Like they do in StarMade, yes, but better, because that game's not great. But that is a discussion for another time. We've got 3 minutes, so we're going to do a quick 1 minute roundup of everyone's favourite parts of this game. So, Crafty, do you want to go first? What's your favourite part of Pulsar?
The fact that everyone like has their own specific role. Like I'm really into role playing games. That is like my favorite.
All right, Deaths, your favourite.
No matter how many times I come back to the game, there's always a different crew, a different strategy, trying something new.
Yeah, I really love that as well. Mulren, your favourite.
The different people you met, like their different personalities, their different like role playing style, you know, how you talk in normal life.
Yeah, hey, like us, join the Biscuit Mafia, the link's in the description below. I think personally my favourite is just the community around it. You get bad communities in some games, and you know they're the worst. And you in this community, most of the players that I have met have been fun, and they've enjoyed the game, and we're all kind of linked by this kind of want to the game to succeed, because it's the game we all want to play, and it's these two guys that are making it, and we kind of all are rooting for them, and that's my favourite bit. Mitchell, yours.
Well, mine is the same as Death, the community part of it. It's just fun that you can keep going back and different experience every time.
Yeah, I do like the community.
Just different than most other games. You don't get many bad people either. Sometimes you get someone that just mess around with your shit for a minute, but you can just pick them.
Yeah. Alright, so that's all that. I think we are probably going to do a follow-up episode of Pulsar discussion. I will get in contact with Tom, and I'm not promising anything, but I might even email one of the devs to see if they would like to come on and answer some of our questions, because I think that would be really exciting. So even not, we're probably gonna have Tom in the next one. So looking forward to that, and if you'd like to join the Biscuit Mafia, it's in the description below. I'd just like to thank everyone who's joined me today: Scoobs, Crafty, T-Man, Anatoly, Deaths, and Mulren.
And a few others that are left in the way.
And a few others who have joined and left over time. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.
See ya.